Once upon a time, in the lush and colorful woodland of Virdis, there lived a proud peacock named Prithvi. His feathers were the brightest shades of blues, greens, and purples, shimmering like jewels in the sunlight. He spent his days preening, flaunting his magnificent plumage to every bird and animal that passed by. Prithvi believed that his beauty made him the most important animal in the entire forest. The other creatures, though admiring his beauty, had grown tired of his boastfulness and often avoided him. One sunny morning, as Prithvi strutted proudly through the forest, he noticed a crow sitting quietly on a nearby branch, observing him with calm, intelligent eyes. The crow's name was Kavi. Kavi had sleek black feathers that gleamed under the sun, but his appearance was nothing compared to Prithvi's splendor. Ah, Kavi, how I envy you, Prithvi called out, his voice dripping with sarcasm. You don't have to worry about keeping up with your looks every moment. You're always so plain and simple. I don't know how you manage to live with such dullness. Kavi tilted his head slightly, his wise eyes glimmering with understanding. Prithvi, he said gently, while you spend hours preening and admiring yourself, I spend my time learning about the world around me. Beauty is fleeting, but wisdom lasts forever. You should focus less on appearances and more on your actions. Prithvi puffed out his chest, offended by Kavi's words. What do you know about beauty? I am the most stunning creature in this forest. Everyone should admire me. With a huff, he walked away, leaving Kavi to reflect on his words. Days went by, and Prithvi continued his daily routine of showing off to anyone who would look. He would spread his colorful tail, dance around, and sing loudly to anyone passing by. But despite his beauty, no one seemed to approach him with the same enthusiasm anymore. Even the other peacocks who used to admire him now ignored him. They were busy in their own pursuits. One day, a great storm struck the forest. Dark clouds covered the sky and the winds howled furiously. Trees bent under the pressure and the rain came pouring down in sheets. Animals scrambled for shelter, and Prithvi, who had been flaunting his feathers near a pond, suddenly found himself soaked and shivering in the cold. His once beautiful plumage, now wet, hung limply around him, and he looked nothing like the glorious peacock he once was. The storm raged on, and Prithvi had nowhere to go. As he stumbled around, desperate to find shelter, he spotted Kavi perched high in a tree, dry and safe from the storm. Kavi, Prithvi called out, his voice full of desperation. Please help me. I have no shelter from this storm. My feathers are ruined. I can't survive like this. Kavi looked down from the tree with sympathy in his eyes. Prithvi, beauty cannot protect you from nature's forces. You spent so much time focusing on your appearance, but now it has left you unprepared. Wisdom and planning ahead would have helped you find shelter before the storm. Prithvi, humbled and ashamed, flew to the base of the tree and begged Kavi for help. Please, Kavi, teach me what I have been too proud to learn. Show me how to live wisely, not just beautifully. Kavi flew down from his perch and guided Prithvi to a small cave hidden in the hillside. This cave has been my shelter for many storms. I've learned to always prepare for what's ahead, instead of focusing solely on what I see in the moment. Prithvi, feeling ashamed of his past behavior, nodded. I've learned a valuable lesson today, Kavi. Beauty is not enough to survive in this world. It is wisdom and preparedness that will help us face the challenges of life. For the next few days, as the storm continued to pour rain on the forest, Prithvi stayed in the cave with Kavi. The two animals spent their time talking and learning from each other. Kavi shared stories of the forest and its ways, teaching Prithvi to be humble and to value wisdom over vanity. Prithvi, in turn, shared his experiences of how he had been admired for his beauty, but realized that admiration based only on appearance was fleeting. When the storm finally passed, the forest was calm again. The sun shone brightly, and the animals returned to their daily routines. But Prithvi no longer strutted about showing off his feathers. Instead, he had learned to value the wisdom that Kavi had shared with him. He no longer sought admiration based solely on his appearance, but on the actions he took and the kindness he showed. One day, as Prithvi was walking through the forest, he passed by Kavi, who was perched on a tree watching the world below. This time, Prithvi didn't flaunt his feathers. Instead, he stopped and said, "Thank you, Kavi. I now understand the value of wisdom. I am no longer the same peacock who cared only for his beauty. I have learned that the real beauty in life lies in knowledge and humility." Kavi smiled and nodded. "Remember, Prithvi, the world will always admire beauty, but true respect comes from within, through wisdom, humility, and compassion." And so Prithvi the peacock and Kavi the crow became the best of friends. The forest animals, seeing Prithvi's transformation, no longer admired him for his beautiful feathers alone. They respected him for his newfound wisdom. And Prithvi learned that the greatest beauty is not in what others see, but in how we live and treat the world around us.